that kind of wraps us up here. We're going to go ahead and walk back to the room. We've actually got some work to do, so we're going to probably settle down for a few hours before later tonight, where we have a food tour, which we're very excited about.
It's a 4-hour walking food tour, and I could not be more excited.
We're going to try not to eat anything and go really hungry.
Yes.
First of all, the tour, the Eternal Food Tour, is going to be around 4 hours walking. The history of the square, it's important. That's what is important. First of all, name Campo de Fiori, which means flower fields. Can you see that statue, that guy? Okay, that guy is a symbol for all the Romans, mainly for the students. It's a symbol of freedom. He's Giordano Bruno. He was a philosopher. He joined the Copernican thoughts. We're going to have now our first stop is going to Viola, a famous norcineria established in the 1890, and we're gonna have the most popular meat that we have in Rome, which is porchetta. This is the famous guanciale, okay? The pork, cheek, and jaw, okay? Later you're going to taste it. I'll even explain you why Romans used a lot the cheek and the jaw instead of olive oil. By now, just remember, most popular traditional dishes that we have in Rome, nobody uses olive oil. We use the fat melted of the cheek, okay? Later I'll even tell you why. By now, remember the huge amount of fat it has, okay? Let's go down there.
That's a lot.
Garlic, black pepper, and salt rolled up and cooked extremely slowly, okay, for at least 8 hours. At a very low temperature.
Very good.
Do you like the meat? Speaking of the place, now is our 4th generation family-owned business. Is the boss of the first one. Is the guy who made the place. 1890, the first butcher. So, okay, people, I mentioned before first theater in Rome. You have to think about 55 BC. Back in the days, the traditions of theater here in Rome was taken from the Greek tradition, which was forbidding having theater made out of stone. Standing temple, yes, but not the theater. So Pompeo, again the arch enemy of Julius Caesar, he wanted to have the first theater in Rome, specifically again 55 BC, and to avoid the law, to turn around the law, he said, okay, I will put a temple on top of the seats of the theater, a temple in honor to the winning Venus. Okay, in that way he turned around the law and had the chance to make a very majestic theater. Okay, now when you step inside that passage, you have to think about Rome, it's like a lasagna. So now is a passage. That was the top, the higher part of the seats of the theater. We're gonna go on the other side and you will step inside the stage of the old theater. You will see the building, they follow the shape of the ancient theater, okay? Come with me.
That's really cool.
Okay. Nowadays, it is a passage. The fresco is a very simple fresco. It's much more older than the theater. It was requested by the Orsini family. That was where it was the milking garden back in the days. Okay. But imagine the higher part seats of the theater. Now, going inside, we are going inside the stage. Okay. And if you will look around the building, you will see the shape of the theater itself. Okay, people, and now here, imagine, we are back in the 55 BC, the first theater in Rome. Okay, look at the shape of the building. That was the seats of the theater. The stage was here, Temple of Venus was on top of the seats. That was the passage that we walked, was the higher level of the seats of the theater. This theater, people, was majestic, was bigger than the Colosseum. Okay, here they just on this side they could have a chance to seat more than 33,000 people. Just to mention, before I mention lasagna, take a look at the restaurant, Trattoria del Parlaro. Very simple restaurant, okay? If you go inside and you ask them, please, may I take a look on the underground? You have a huge archaeological site, and it is part of the old theater that I mentioned. So again, the shape of the seats was like that. First theater in Rome, 55 BC, even bigger than Mr. Colosseum. The word ghetto comes from the word ghetto, which is a neighborhood in Venice. Okay, the nowadays you open the map of Venice, you have a little part called ghetto, okay, which technically it comes from our Latin word of foundry. The one in Rome was the second one all over Italy, established in 1555. The ghetto that you will see now is fully renewed. A couple of streets, they are old, but you have to think about after Second World War was practically mainly renewed. All the big street that you will see, even the strip that they have nowadays, it's a new street. This is the first stop in the ghetto. This is called, as you see, Tavern in the Ghetto. Technically, it's the first restaurant in the new strip of the ghetto.
We are stopping in the Jewish Ghetto right now to have our first full stop. This was one of the first restaurants established after World War II, so 1950-ish. I think we're doing like a fried codfish type of thing. Our guide was telling us earlier that when the Jewish Ghetto was made, one of the popes decided that they couldn't have nice foods, that they couldn't have enjoyable food, so they got very, very creative with what they cooked, and a lot of the Roman dishes that are popular today came from the Jewish Ghetto here.
We have a lighthouse. We have a lighthouse. I don't know what kind of boats you could see it, but because it's more than 6-hour walking. So, but yes, we even had that.
Fried cod is wonderful.
Being said that,
I love it.
simple things. In between the two big world wars, when we started to have other racial laws, even in Rome, by the way, this was the famous ghetto. Some of them, they had business in here. The synagogue that I'll show you at the end was established in 1904. So there were Jewish people, by the way, in here. People that were living or working in here. They used, fortunately, it was a dark fortune, but they used the fact that the streets, they were so narrow, and when the Nazis, they were looking for them, these people, knowing the perimeter of the ghetto, they were jumping from roof to roof. Okay, so the few of them that they sentenced up, they used the fact that the ghetto, fortunately, was made in this way. Okay, people, regroup everybody. We arrived. This is our next stop, Bar delle Tartarughe. Ciao caro. Ci sono 7. What we're going to eat, the beautiful cake, and we're going to drink a little bit of prosecco. Now, where's the story behind this cake? Again, when ghetto was established and the Jewish people, they had the edicts against them regarding the food, cheese also was something that they couldn't have. So, what happened? They needed to find out a way to, whenever they can, to eat things that they couldn't have the permission to do it. So they figured it out to make this cake with wild cherry in the bottom, and even back in the days they were putting wild cherry on the top, covering it with the pastry, as you see, and cook it in a way that it started to be even a little bit hard, and you couldn't see the cheese.
We're so bad about talking about the food because we're so enjoying the group of people that we're with, but that cake was delicious. It's like literally a pastry and then a layer of wild cherry and then ricotta cheese, lightly sugared, and then more pastry. Way better than I ever expected when you told me this cake has a whole chunk of ricotta cheese in it. Fascinating, delicious, so good.
About all the emperors back in the day, they wanted to have their own theater. It should be brighter and better than the old ones. Colosseum is a nickname, okay? This is not his real name. Real name of Colosseum is Flavius Theater, okay? Yeah. This one was requested by Augustus, that he made the theater in honor to his nephew, Marcellus. You have also a pure example of when people, they tell you Romans, they were good into recycling back in the days. Not anymore, as you can see walking in the streets, but back in the days they were good. What happened to the theater in the Middle Ages? They didn't smash the theater, but they made apartments inside. Okay? There's still people living inside. Now also, look at this temple. This is the old fish market that I mentioned before, speaking of the ghetto period. But the archaeological site is even much more older. You are in front of the first temple people made in honor to a woman. Okay, so please, all the ladies, they can stay here, and if you want to have a photo, you can have it. All the women
temple
here,
for the
please.
women.
Yes, people. The first temple in history made in honor to a woman. What happened? The same emperor Augustus, he made the theater in honor to his nephew, and he made the street and the temple in honor to guess whom? His little sister, Octavia. That's why this street nowadays is called Portico di Ottavia, and the temple was made in honor to the sister of Augustus, Ottavia. Well, we have two little temples, one for June and another one for Jupiter, and also we have just a couple of columns. Down there, the columns that you see down there are the temple to Apollo, the god of sun. A couple last things about the ghetto. I want to show you a curious, very interesting symbol, okay? Come with me. Does you remind the symbol?
Swastika.
Yeah, swastika. This symbol, okay, symbol of good luck. The swastika comes from the Indian religion, okay? The Greek, they took it from the Indian, and the religion in Rome, the ancient Rome, was established all over the Greek tradition. That's why lots of gods they had, like Jupiter, Zeus are the same. This swastika was a symbol of good luck, so that's why you will find, as you said, in Korea, Nazis, Hitler, he just flip-flopped the symbol, but it's a good sign. Wherever you go in ancient ruins, even here in the ghetto, you step inside the temples, you'll see swastika everywhere, which is a symbol of good luck. We crossed the bridge and the street, we stopped into Trastevere, okay? Why we have a food tour in here? Because, again, as I mentioned before, the three foodie areas that even nowadays Romans refer as areas where the food was created, mainly created, was the ghetto, Testaccio, and Trastevere. So of these communities that they couldn't afford to buy real food, but they were taking whatever they could, even stealing whatever they could, and the fact that they were close to the port, to all the storage warehouses that Romans had, these people, they had access to tons of, let's say, exotic ingredients faster and easier than rich communities. So they started to be creative, and lately, people that they lived in Trastevere, they kept the tradition to be creative in food and became popular for that. They kept the tradition of Enzo. They still have an authentic Roman trattoria. Trattorias are family-owned business. He's one of the family. Small kitchens, as you see, focus in local dishes. They closed after lunch, reopen at dinner, so not before 7:15, okay? And they do not accept reservation, okay? These are not actors. I didn't pay them to stay here. They're waiting to have a seat, okay? So they are hating us probably now. They're like, why are you here? What are you gonna do? You're gonna jump, okay? Hello.
I love everybody here. I'm having such a great time. I just want to be friends with all these people forever.
So the artichoke that we're going to have, how we make it and what we have here. The carciofo alla giudea, the Jewish style artichoke. Okay. Napkins.
Oh, better, yeah.
I am so full. We still have a whole meal and dessert.
The popular type that we have in Rome that made this recipe very famous is the mammolo. Mammolo, like one of the little dwarfs of the novel of Snow White and the mammolo. It's a sort of artichoke that is huge. Okay. Okay, people, we arrived. This is our last big stop. Okay. This is the back door entrance of a very popular restaurant in Trastevere called Spirito di Vino, Soul of the Wine. Now, a couple of things about the place. That's the back door entrance. Later, when we're gonna go for gelato, I'll show you the main entrance of the place. Before we go inside, try to guess what was this building. Yeah, who said that? Spoiler alert. Again, working class Roman Jewish community lived here. The area was packed of temples, little temples, some of them. This was a synagogue, okay? Synagogue itself is dated to the 980 AD, okay? Then unfortunately, the synagogue itself suffered a fire in 1258, so the inside is completely gone, okay? But the outside is still the same. These are the walls of the synagogue. This is 2023. Now we're going to go down to 980 AD, synagogue level, and we're going to go even deeper than that. Okay, ready to go down?
Yes.
Okay. Synagogue level, the mezzanine that we passed, that was synagogue level. The little door that you see up there was one of the doors of the synagogue. Tiny window up there was the mikvah of the synagogue, and this bucket, in fact, was the bucket that they used to collect the raining water and fill the well of the mikvah. These hole doesn't lead us to any sort of secret room, but it goes to the well of the mikvah. This archaeological site is dated around the 80 BC. Okay? These arts are specifically from the 1st century BC. And also what they show you. I mean, they're not so tall, but they were shorter. This site was an open court, okay, open sky of a very rich Roman family. 1849, a Roman wanted to buy this destroyed building and make new apartments. When he did to make the basement, he found out this archaeological site. Okay, with the site, found out a lot of treasures, and one of them we have to mention is the statue. Okay, have you ever been to Vatican Museum? Anybody? Okay, how many pieces of art they do have in just one room in Vatican Museum?
Too many.
A tons.
Yeah.
Okay, when they found out the statue in here, the Pope said, okay, it's ours. They took it, and without paying for it, of course, and they put it in the Vatican Museum. Okay, still there. And again, the replica, this one has been found in the other room, and the statue was here, below the arch. Okay? Pecorino Romano cheese, boiling water, tomato sauce, and pork cheek. Here in Lazio region, poor communities, they couldn't afford to buy continuously olive oil for cooking. I mean, it was a precious thing. So they were looking for something good but cheap to use for sauces. So all the poor communities, they figured it out by accident that the fat of the cheek, if you cook it at a very low heat, melts completely. So they start to use that for cooking.
One more stop.
Yeah,
Gelato. I'm so full. I'm so excited.
A real gelato, natural, it's a slightly different. So how can you spot if it's mainly made with natural thing? So look at these two things, shape, flat, and the color. Okay, and you will understand if it's real or not.
This is the final stop of our food tour. It has been incredible. I am so stuffed. Full of food, full of information, full of history. This has been an amazing experience. Our guide, Luca, is incredible. I don't want it to be over, but I don't think I can shove any more food in me after this.
Happy with the gelato?
So good.
I mean, it's made out of natural ingredients.
So good.
So you taste the flavor. Milk is not stabilizers.
I got a hazelnut one and a dark chocolate.
Okay, people, first of all, thank you very much to have the courage to share 4 hours of your life with me. Okay?
You've been amazing.
I hope you enjoyed it.
That is the food tour done. It was fantastic.
We had such a good time.
It was 4 hours, which seems long, I know, but you're eating so much food, you're almost thankful for the time because you're moving in between things, so that was really nice. All the food was great. The group we had was really nice. We actually had some people from Texas, which is random and tends to happen everywhere we go, but also our tour guide was just fantastic.
Luca was amazing. So fantastic, actually, that we just booked another tour with him when we come back to Rome after the wedding.
And that tour is in the neighborhood that he lives in and where he's like currently. He's very excited about it.
He said that's his favorite tour that he likes, one of his favorite tours that he likes to host. So we're super excited to go spend another 4 hours with him, learning tons of things. He gave us so much history on the city, the way that it connects the food to the people, and it was amazing. I'm going to try to put in as much history as I can, which you've already seen by now, but honestly, it was amazing.
It was our first time ever doing a food tour. We had definitely seen it done a few times, and we thought to ourselves, what a great way to kind of get into like the culture through their food. Mm-hmm. I definitely think this is something that we will do again, and obviously we're going to do it again. But I would suggest to anybody when you're traveling, if you can find a good food tour and just kind of do it, Go. That is us done at this current location. Tomorrow we're actually going to, or tonight we're going to pack up, and tomorrow we're going to meet up with my family, and we're going to go to the wedding venue, which is in Umbria, which is, they always said Tuscany, but now we've learned it's not Tuscany.
I think it's really close to like the border area between Umbria and Tuscany, but it's officially Umbria. Either way, it looks amazing. We are stuffed and exhausted.
Tired. So we're going to try to get some work done and then sleep. Like some much needed sleep.
Go to the food tour. We had so much fun. We've sort of forgot about the vlog half the time because we were just really enjoying ourselves talking with all the other people in our group and learning.
To be fair, it's kind of awkward when you're trying to talk to people and like film a vlog at the same time, especially for me because they're always just looking at me weird when I'm doing all kind of weird food shots. Hopefully you got to hear a lot about our food from our tour guide, and again, we'll probably try to link the tour company in the description of the video. We can link
the one that we did in the description of the video, and then
if that's something that you're interested in,
highly recommend it.
They're not asking us to do it. They didn't give us a tour for free. We paid for everything. This is our honest opinion.
Loved every stinking second. Go do it.
Like, comment, subscribe. For the algorithm, leave comments.
Go book the food tour.
Even mean ones. We like them. They make us laugh.
Go book the food tour. Go book the food tour. Ciao, ciao.